Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about content creation, but not on social media. This is going to be specifically about building your content on a website. So I started off Plus Size in Chicago as a website, and originally when I started that website out, it was really to start off a blog to talk about different issues that I was having as a plus size woman. Um, as plus size women, we deal with a lot, not only just people like looking at us weird or talking about us, but also there's a stigma about like, oh, because you're overweight, you are lazy or you're not doing X, Y, and Z. And that's not the case for everyone. So for me, I was talking about on my website, like issues with me like finding clothes, issues with like sitting in freaking airplane seats or just going into the bathroom and feeling like the walls were closing in. So that's what my blog was about originally. Then I moved out of that because I was like, you know what? I am not going to be talking about my grievances online like this because it's not helping me. At first, it felt a little therapeutic, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to start talking about what I like to do and what I like to enjoy, and that is being a foodie. So, my content creation started on my website, and what I started doing was putting online my different recipes. I also started like filming like through photos what I am eating when I go to different restaurants. I live in the Chicagoland area. Chicago has tons of restaurants that has the most amount of great food. So you're going to see foodies like me taking photos and videos while you're in the restaurant. So I started actually like posting those things on my website. And when I started doing that, I started getting like tons of engagement, like visitors coming in through the blogs. So I wanted to let you all know that that may be a source for you when it comes down to your content creation, that it does not always have to be on social media. You don't have to be up on the latest platforms like Threads, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You have other sources for your content creation where you could also make money too, not just getting these views. So on my website, I actually use WordPress. So just to give you a little background, I am a website designer, so it was a little bit more easy for me to do this. I have been building websites since 1999. Yeah, back then. That's and I'm not going to even that should even let you know like how old I am, but I have started building out websites since 1999 and I have experience with websites. But I'm going to tell you, building out a website is super duper easy. And the website software that I was using for my website is WordPress. So people can use like GoDaddy, Shopify, sites like that where they already have templates and you pretty much just plug and play the information that you put in there. So when you're thinking about using a website as another source of income or for your business to get your content out there, don't think about a website as being hard to do or that you got to pay some designer or developer like me to build it out for you. You just want to make sure that you have the main things on there. And again, you want to make sure that it is a website that you can build out on your own because you don't want to have to be using money to pay someone to keep it up to date, to keep it fresh, to constantly put information out there. But one thing I will tell you is that when you are building a website, you want to keep it up to date as much as possible. You want to make sure that you have your business information on there. You want to make sure that there's a way people can contact you. You want to have an About Us page or About Me page, talking about who you are, what your page is about, what your website is about. You want to make sure that you have your services, your programs, or, not just ways that people can reach out to you, but like, what are you talking about on your site? Is there like something that you're selling? Is it a product? Is it certain types of services that you do all the time that you want people to know about? So you want to make sure that that information is up to date. But before we even get there, you want to make sure that you have something that's easy to update. So you want to use a hosting service like GoDaddy, like Shopify, like Wix. Wix.com is perfect. I actually have a client, a really good friend of mine, where I built out his website years ago, and he's able to get in there and edit it himself. So Wix has templates. You pick the, like, say your business is restaurant, or it is hair care, or clothing. You pick that topic. They have different themes. You add it in there. You select it. You change your colors, and then you just start throwing in your content, which is your words, your images. Okay, so you want to find sites like that, and I'm gonna plug Wix.com because Wix is really, really easy to use. Squarespace is also another software that you can use. In WordPress, which is what I use for my site. However, with WordPress, they have the WordPress.com and they have the WordPress.org. WordPress.com is the easiest to update if you are a small content creator and you want to be able to update these things yourself. But if you are going to spend money with a developer or a designer, then you'll use what they call WordPress.org. And that's when you are able to add multiple different types of templates, and you can update it with ease. There are some hosting companies like GoDaddy. I'm gonna say, I think Bluehost, as well as one-and-one.com, which I think is now it's actually Ionos.com. They have packages where they'll manage the WordPress site for you. So they're updating the plugins and updating the themes and stuff like that. So these are just different sources, and I'll put that in the video description. These different sources, the different hosting companies that you can use that has like free templates or templates that you can edit very easily. So you want to make sure that you have a good system like that where you can update it yourself. You also want to make sure it is a great host so that your site isn't one of those that is down all the time. You don't want to go to a web page and that hosting company, it's cheap, and the site is down and all the time, and you don't even know why. It's just down. Okay, so I'm going to put that information, those different sources, in the video description so that you can use that. So the other thing that you want to make sure that you have with your website is information, like I said, that is up to date. So again, your About Me page, your services and programs, how they can contact you, and what is your site about. So for me, I post blogs. My blogs are about recipes. I have blogs about restaurants that I visited. I have blogs about the travel experience that I have had. Like, what I saw, what I ate, things like that. If I'm doing restaurants, I'll talk about that restaurant, like what my review was, my experience, and I'll also put a link to that restaurant. How that is important, the information that you put in there, is that search engines like Google will find you. So if you put the right information in there, like I'm just going to use this as an example. Off the top of my head, I'm going to name like a barbecue spot. Okay. So let's say barbecue restaurant X. I am reviewing them. I got great photos. I am adding my experience, and I also put their information with a link to their website on my blog. Okay. So all of this information has been added. And if you have a good website hosting company with plugins or with templates, it's going to have an area for you to add like searchable keywords, what they call like meta information. You put that keyword information there, the title, the description, And Google, search engines like Google is going to pick that up. Google is the #1 search engine, so we're going to use Google. I'm not going to even talk about Bing. I'm not even going to talk about AOL, Yahoo. We're going to talk about Google, okay? So Google is going to pick up that search engine information, and eventually, if someone starts searching for that restaurant, you're going to pop up inside that search engine because it's going to show that foodie review. It's going to show that restaurant name. It's going to show their address and phone number because you have it in your blog. People are searching for that. It's going to show up. Your website is going to show up too as a source for information about that restaurant. It's kind of like you have become Yelp or you have become Google Review, but it's through your website, okay? So that is just one way that you can get traffic to your website. If you are a foodie content creator like me and you're trying to break into this and you're going to restaurants already, but you're like, you know what? How can I get more eyes on the information that I'm doing? You can use your website. You can create a website. Now, with my website, I have, like I said before, the blogs. I have information about me, but I am also selling product on there too. So one way that you can do that is by using a separate website where you can link to it, or you can put your products inside of that website. So websites like Wix, website hosting companies like Wix, website hosting companies like Shopify and GoDaddy, Squarespace, WordPress, they allow you to create a store within those hosting companies, and you can embed it into your website so people can purchase. When you do that, if you are someone that is attempting to sell products on your website, main things that you need to make sure that you have ready and available is you got to have, if not an LLC, you got to have some type of tax proof showing that this is your business. Okay, so you should have a business name. If that business is going to be your name itself, then you want to make sure that your name is a business. So you got to have either your social security number or you got to have what they call a federal employee identification number, FEIN. The other thing that you should do, especially if you have employees, if you don't have employees, your social security is fine. Get an LLC, search on Google how to get an LLC, very easy, but you want to go like to your state's business site. So in Illinois, Secretary of State has information about LLCs. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you have a bank account. If you're selling something online through your website, make sure you have a bank account specifically for the business, and that's going to help you with your taxes. You want to make sure anything that's related to that business that you're selling, that it is separate and going into that separate bank account. Okay. And that's because if you're selling something and you're receiving revenue, you got to pay taxes on that. So you want to keep all that separate, and you want to be able to understand what your revenue is, and it should be separate from your regular bank account. You also want to make sure that you have like a type of like a payment source or a revenue income source where you're receiving payments. So those websites that I mentioned earlier, the Wix, the GoDaddy, the Squarespace, the Shopify, you want to make sure you set up an account. The easiest thing to do is to set up a PayPal account or a Stripe account. So PayPal or Stripe, those are the big ones where it's like merchant accounts where you can receive money. Okay. So once you set that up, they're going to be asking you for your business bank account number. So again, you gotta have that business bank account number ready, especially if you're receiving monies. Okay. And then you go through that process of setting up those accounts. You can receive money. You have everything embedded into your website, and you are able to see your orders that are coming in. That's one great revenue source for content creators with a website. The last thing that I'm going to mention on here about having your own website for content creation is how you can make money through Google Ads. Okay, so that's like putting a snippet of code on your website and you'll have like blogs, you'll have like ads appearing on your blog or ads appearing on your pages. And you can control like where that ad can be placed, whether it's on the bottom of your website or on the top or on the sides of your website. You have control over that. So to start that, you want to go to Google AdSense. And again, this is for people who have websites. This is how you can make that extra income. And you're making income from the traffic that is going to your website. And anytime someone sees that ad, you're getting a couple of cents. It ain't going to be a whole bunch of money off the start, but eventually it does add up. For me, I get the biggest revenue during the holiday season because people are coming to my website for the recipes. I have like a lot of soul food, comfort food type recipes on my website, like the macaroni and cheese, the dressing, the turkey wings, the greens. And people are seeing that on TikTok. And I'm like, recipe is on my website, or click the link in my bio to get to the recipe. Okay. That traffic is coming to my website and people are seeing those ads. And whether they click on that ad or not, I'm still getting revenue. Okay. So that's just another resource for you if you are doing content creation outside of social media, but putting it on a website. So I am hoping that this video was helpful for you. Make sure that you have subscribed if you know there are people that are content creators or they are foodies and they're trying to get into this business and they're trying to learn more. This is the channel for them. They should subscribe, get notifications to know like what's the next video. I am going to have all these videos about marketing and content creation inside of a playlist. So just keep watching the playlist to learn more, and I'll see you guys in the next video.